he's definitely saying he thinks he can use that research to kill the zombies.
Right.
But I think he is at least suggesting that somehow the zombie apocalypse started as a result of this effort to weaponize diseases, but it's unclear. I don't know.
And it sort of makes sense.
It's interesting.
It makes sense if, I should go back and watch the CDC episode again and see how that sort of jives with that, with what we learned
I wonder
at
if
the
it
CDC.
does. Yeah. I don't want to watch that one again, so you tell me.
You will eventually.
I will. You're right. You're right. I definitely will. All right, your turn.
Okay. My next one is the pace of this episode. It seemed like it was an entire season crammed into one episode, which may be why I liked it so freaking much. I mean, it started, they're trapped, they're endangered, they escape, they fight, they win, there was a big reunion, and then they keep moving on. I mean, that could have been an entire season right there.
Yeah, I mean, I liked that too. The only part that didn't jive with me is when Carol came in and saw Mary there, and Mary trained her gun on Carol and said, "Drop your weapons now." And then Carol got the drop on her. And then Mary immediately explained the whole backstory of Terminus. And it was like, this feels a bit rushed. Like, it didn't feel organic to me that she would suddenly just say, well, we used to be for real, and then somebody attacked us, and then we had to become the butchers, and there you go, up on a silver platter, here's what we're all about. It just felt a bit rushed to me. So I felt like that could have taken at least a couple of episodes before we got that whole story, or at least come out in a way that didn't feel like somebody was just, we need to tell the audience what's going on here.
Right. I got that she was feeling kind of guilty, and this was sort of almost her deathbed confession, and she feels really bad.
She does
about
look guilty.
What they became.
She kept saying, at first we were okay, but we had to do this.
And she kind of knows she's going to die. And so she just wanted to say, look, here's my justification. I don't really buy it, but this is what this is.
But I was hungry.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it was, by the way, it was really gratifying to see Terminus burn in the distance. That was really fun. And did you notice that at one point, Rick says to the group, I wonder if it's still burning.
Yeah, I don't know if it's still burning.
I don't know. And Carol said, it is. It was a little throwback to last season when she learns about the color of smoke.
She got a science lesson from Mika.
Exactly. Hopefully, I'm hoping that they can stop at a large house or apartment complex and hang out for a few days and take a break.
Chill, catch some reruns.
Some reruns. Talk about reruns.
My downstairs neighbor, I can tell, is doing a marathon of Who's That Girl with Zooey Deschanel. Do you ever watch that show? It's a comedy, because I can just barely hear vague sounds, but that show starts off, "Who's that girl? It's Jess." And so I hear that every 20 minutes or so, every 30 minutes or so. I don't know why. That's
totally what she's doing on this beautiful San Francisco day.
Not today, but she has been lately. Okay, you got more?
I don't.
Okay. This is okay. I want to stress, I really love this episode, but this is a few things that kept it from being a 4.9 for me.
Okay.
That's my number 3. I liked that Carol came in and saved the day. I even was okay that there just happened to be this giant fuel tank that she could explode, and she shot it, and of course she has a scope. It was totally fine. But then that she's able to aim this convenient firework bottle rocket and hit it on the first try, then I was like, that's a bit much. And what would have saved it for me is if she just took 2 or 3 tries to get it. And I think that would have been cool to see, like, she shoots one off and it just goes way off and hits a window or something like that. And you're like, what is she doing?
But it took her a couple shots to get the propane tank.
Oh, it didn't.
Yeah,
she got it on the first shot.
No, she didn't. She didn't.
Well, to me, it's easier when you have a scope to hit a giant tank than to
that's true.
Try and lob a rocket and get it just right,
out of the barrel of a gun.
And and I could see she could get lucky, but when it's already like so Rambo that
Yeah.
she's gotten zombie goop all over her, just doing all this other stuff. I just wish that, and it's a little thing, but if they would have just taken a couple tries, that would have been better for me.
Right, I agree.
But I loved seeing all the zombies get exploded and then kind of one by one get back up to their feet and head towards the fire.
And some of them are flaming.
Yeah. But then I was thinking, okay, this isn't a complaint, but it's just a thought I had. They like to go towards the fire, right? But then
they're stupid.
But then we see in last season we saw all those charred zombies coming out of the fire. So I'm like, well, what do? They go into the fire and they're in the fire and they're like, this, I don't like this. Let's go back out of the fire. And then they go out and they're all pissed off. And then the zombie herd coming in and at that moment felt a little bit Deus Ex Machina to me. And they kind of made it so that everybody could escape. But on the other hand, I think what they were really saying is that guy Martin who met Tyrese, he was going around with his fireworks because they had figured out a way to distract or redirect the zombies. And because Carol and Tyrese interrupted him, then the zombies weren't redirected and they went. Still, the timing was pretty convenient that there happened to be a herd of zombies coming through at that time. Yeah. So a little Deus Ex Machina, but small complaints.
Pretty good though. By the way, so my number 4, two, is riffing on Carol saving the day, and I'll just add a little bit about. So I liked that Carol saved the day, but you have some excellent points. But
I like that she did too.
She's such a freaking badass. I mean, she really is. Yeah. And I thought that maybe she'd be part of the reason why they got out of there. So it made me really happy when I saw her with Tyrese. And she just
was there any part of you that was like, uh-oh, Carol's getting her big moment here. What could that mean?
No. I just thought she was going to save it.
You shut that off in your brain.
I really did. I'm glad by the way, I'm really glad you knew the name of the guy in the Detroit Tigers hat. At least I think it's a Detroit Tigers hat. Martin, thank you. God, it was so great when she got him, thanks for the ammo, asshole. I love that they put him in the little hunting cabin with Tyrese and Judith. I thought that was a fun little segment there.
He was great too, because he was chewing that gum, which was annoying as hell.
Yes.
And his tongue kind of stuck out every once in a while. And he just had that shit-eating, smug look on his face, make you want to slap him.
He used to be good. He used to go to church and watch football.
Plus, he's just an a-hole killer psycho.
And had his grimy paws around Judith's neck.
Grimy paws on her silky drawers.
So I love that Carol saved the day. And to talk about the showdown with Denise Crosby, Tasha Yar.
Yeah.
By the way, did you know she's on Ray Donovan?
What?
She's on Ray Donovan, Denise Crosby.
What's Ray Donovan?
Ray Donovan is a show on, I want to say, like Showtime with Liev Schreiber.
It's getting
great reviews. It's supposed to be fantastic. Okay. I'm gonna at some point I'm gonna get into Ray Donovan.
Yeah, because I expected her to have a larger role because I don't know why, but she's a fan favorite from Star Trek.
Yeah.
And it looks, I mean, we didn't see her die, but we saw the zombies converge and she screamed. We didn't see her die though.
We didn't.
So she could still be alive. I doubt it.
I think she's a zombie at this point.
Yeah.
Unless they ate her brain. I like that she says you're either the butcher or the cattle, and Carol comes back with, you're not here and neither am I. It was great. Very zen.
I was thinking about it, and this may be a bit of a stretch, but Carol killed Karen and David to save the group, right? Mm-hmm. And the very extreme of that kind of thinking is, well, we had Terminus, people came in and they turned out to be bad and threatened us, so now we're just going to kill everyone just in case to save our group. So I think that the very extreme of that kind of thinking that Carol had is Terminus.
Yeah.
I don't know if the writers were consciously aware of that.
I think you're right.
That's what I was thinking.
Right, right. Yeah.
And speaking of that, I forgot to mention when the reunions, one of those reunions is Rick and Carol, and he just seems glad to see her. And I wonder if he's just going to let all that stuff go. And I still really hope at least there's a conversation around it or something, but I have a feeling there might not be.
No, I think that after she saves everybody,
and Judith especially,
buys her a little forgiveness. Yeah. We'll see. All right, what's your number 2?
Okay, well, we got a lot of backstory and information on the Terminus people. I just thought I'd go over that. So they started out actually trying to help people. They put up all those signs when they were in their helpful mood, and then they decided to just leave them up and keep broadcasting.
Yep.
They
eat, man.
They got taken over by bad people, imprisoned, tortured, raped, who knows what else. Then they decided you're either the butcher or the cattle, and Gareth vowed to take back Terminus. So we didn't get to see how, but apparently they took it back, and then they got really organized, and they all have jobs now. They have bloodletters, butchers, broadcasters, bookkeepers, and baseball batters, and probably other jobs.
Security guards,
and firework lighters. And when Gareth asks the other dude what his shot count was, he says, "I'm sorry, it was my first roundup." So that makes me think that method of shooting at people's feet to get them to go to the train cars, they do that a lot. It's like herding cattle. Last week I was wondering about what the transition between them being all nice with Glenn and Maggie and their group was, and then having them end up in the train car. Remember?
Yep.
And Abraham in this episode said something like, when I told them about DC, a wink and a nod from the head guy in charge, and it was right back to the regularly scheduled shitstorm.
This is a hilarious line.
So I wondered if he thinks him telling them about DC had something to do with that, maybe because that signified to them that he wanted to leave, and they're like, nope, you're not leaving.
He did. He wanted to get out of there. He smelled a rat.
Probably, yeah.
Just like Rick did.
I love the whole public face thing. You know, it's like they have it all worked out. We're going to be chill and nice when people are around and not show any like butchery.
Right. Right.
It's so interesting.
Until they become dinner.
Yeah. And then the last thing, a little information about them. It turned out that Rick actually wasn't doing such a great job of sneaking up on them because they were watching him the whole time. Yes. So I think even when he came into that little warehouse, whatever, they were expecting him.
The broadcast center.
Yeah, the broadcast center, exactly.
Yeah, they were being watched the whole time.
Yep.
Man.
So they really had their stuff together.
Yeah.
And Carol was the random catalyst that threw it all off on its edge.
Again, well done, Carol. Mm-hmm. All right. My number 1 is actually Rick. The human killing machine. He has changed.
Yeah. What do you think about him machine gunning all those people?
I got to say, at some point, so I watched this in the afternoon, and I had all the windows open, and I kept screaming, "Kill them! Kill them!"
And the next time you see your neighbors,
they did. My neighbor Cindy actually asked me. She's like, "We were wondering what was going on."
That's hilarious. Wow.
Yeah, so that's what
the
that
cop
brings.
show.
That's what that brings out in me.
You should have David like not come out for a while.
He's fine. He's fine.
He's sick. He's on vacation.
What smell? And he was just, Andrew Lincoln was wonderful throughout, and I loved at the very end he scribbles out the sanctuary for all part, or the for all, and writes no sanctuary on that. By the way, did you notice the music during that little segment? It was really cool. It was this piano kind of music with, do you know what gamelan bells are? Gamelan chimes from Bali. It kind of, it kind of sounded like those Balinese gamelan chimes.
Do you have a clip of that?
Right up here, pal. I'm tapping my forehead. So
I remember thinking it was good, but I don't remember what it sounded like.
So that was my number 1.
I think Rick was totally justified in doing that because it's kind of a war scene there.
Uh-huh.
It's kill or be killed.
That's right. They're not going to, he was right. They are not going to pause. They're not, kill them right away. They're not going to pause and listen to you.
What did you think changed about, or I guess it's sort of obvious, but changed Rick's mind about going back and finishing off everyone else at Terminus? He wanted to do that, and then he decided, let's get out of here.
Judith.
Yeah, Judith. So I'm like, well, if he wants to not endanger Judith, then what does that say about Carl? Because he was ready to go in with Carl. I guess he feels like Carl can take care of himself enough to do that.
And he might not have been ready to have Carl go back in there.
Carl could have been hanging back, but
right.
Yeah.
But I don't think his revenge definitely died down after we saw he saw Judith, and maybe it was enough to see that it was burning down to the ground
Yeah.
eventually.
Yep. Although now that we know that Gareth will be back, maybe that was a mistake. My turn?
Yeah.
Okay. My number one, we've talked about a bit. It's just the disposition of the termites after they've gone through their whole ordeal.
Yeah.
I love the scenes where Gareth and company are in the train car. He's a good actor, man.
Yeah, he is.
Did that so well and made me think, yeah, they're having a really horrible time there.
Yeah. They're definitely wounded. That's for sure.
And we spend a lot more time with a little more time with Martin than any of the other ones.
Uh-huh.
And I wonder if his attitude is common. I don't think so, because Mary seemed more, like you say, regretful. But Martin, he doesn't even seem to care that much about the Terminus people. He says, I don't have any friends. I mean, I know people, but they're just the assholes I stay alive with.
That's right.
But I think a lot of them felt really bonded together, especially that candle room made me feel like that. Like it's just us that we care about now. He didn't, though.
Right.
So I have a bunch of notes.
Do it. I have one note.
Let's hear it.
Okay. I love the Zeds in this episode. I thought they were really looking great. So well done, Greg Nicotero and your special effects company. You always hit it out of the park. One in particular I'd like to talk about, and it was just a quick little moment, but when Tyrese and Carol were hiding in the woods and the horde was sort of coming across the tracks, and they were looking at Carol and Tyrese were looking at them coming across, and then all of a sudden you hear sounds of the gunfire in the distance, and it does a close-up of one of the Zed's faces, and he's completely decapitated, and he goes, sort of, what? And then they start changing direction and walking down the tracks towards Terminus. And his detail was just great. He was great looking. So I loved him.
Yeah, I want to be a zombie like that sometime.
A special, what do they call them? Hero zombies.
Heroes. The first zombie that they saw before they noticed that there were a lot more had one handcuff on. I think it was a woman on her
I
wrist.
didn't notice that.
Yeah, I wondered what that was all about. I don't get it.
Interesting.
Yeah. Like, were they all supposed to be prisoners or something? I don't know. Okay, so here's my random notes. I have a bunch of them. I was trying to find out about whether animals are butchered that way, like their throats cut. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I found this whole entry about this thing called shechita. Shechicha. It's a Hebrew term. It means the slaughtering of mammals and birds. It usually means kosher slaughter.
Right. Right.
And it's all about killing animals with respect and compassion.
Yeah.
So this is a little graphic, but you sever their trachea, esophagus, carotid arteries, jugular veins, and vagus nerve in a swift action using a sharp blade.
Right.
And it supposedly renders the animal insensible to pain quickly, and they go unconscious really quick. So I wonder if that means that the Terminus people are trying to be, they think of people as cattle, but they're trying to be as compassionate as they can.
But that does not explain the baseball bat in the head to the peach guy first.
Yeah. I mean, even that, that would, I was thinking about that too, but that would almost be even more because it's so quick. You don't have time to suffer.
Yeah.
Although I would be suffering if I was on the other end of that line going, oh shit.
Yes. One after
Bonk.
the next.
Bonk.
Yeah, exactly.
That'd be the worst.
Yeah, that halal also in Islam, that's the equivalent of kosher, is slaughtering an animal compassionately.
Well, I went skydiving one time. I've been a few, but one time I was on a plane, a bigger plane that had no seats. So we were all just sitting in this big cargo area, and I was towards the back of the line. This is the first time I ever went. And as people were jumping out, that was freaking me out.
I'll bet it was.
Oh, it's coming up to my turn.
I think I'll just stay here and land with you all.
No, I did it. And it was awesome. I was thinking this episode sort of casts a little doubt on my whole thing about it's important to be open to new people coming in and joining your group, because Terminus tried that.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
you're right. You might bring in some awful people.
Yeah, you got to ask them. You got to see that the problem with Terminus is they didn't have their 3 questions. That would have solved everything. I thought it was. We watched these all in a row, and did you notice anything about Chad Coleman?
No.
To me, he looked like 3 or 4 sizes bigger.
Oh,
You didn't notice
fascinating.
that? Okay.
No.
I wonder if it's just me. Listeners, if you notice that, let me know.
A lot of pudding?
It looked like he gained some weight there. And Michael Cudlitz, he got a little more slim and cut too.
Yeah, he did. You're right.
And Chandler Riggs didn't really seem to have a huge growth spurt. So he was the one I was looking for a change in, but instead I saw it in Tyrese.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe not the way that you want to see it.
I don't know. I mean, I don't care, but just noticed it. Let's see. I love that Eugene sucks at killing zombies.
Yeah, he really
Because somebody
does.
has to suck at it.
Yeah.
And the scene where he dodges away and he goes like that.
Yeah.
That's how I in my dreams do it. And at Walking Dead Escape.
I just stand near Michonne and Daryl and you'll be fine.
Glenn hitting that's what he did too.
I know.
Glenn hitting zombies with a baseball bat after he almost got whacked with one was kind of a nice turn.
Yeah.
And if you read the comic, there's something interesting about that there too, but I won't go into it. Rick had like even a crazy look even for him on his face when Gareth was trying to find out what was in that bag.
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
And he goes, well, let me take you out there. I'll show you.
I'll show you.
When he was like,
I'm gonna.
bloodlust.
He described. I think Michonne's. What did he say? There was a knife with a red handle or something like that. Maybe not definitely not Michonne's sword. But there's something out there, and that's what I'm going to kill you with.
Yeah, that's right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Feisty.
Why do you think Rick stopped Daryl from knifing that guy's brain and said, don't let him turn?
Because it must be awful to be a zombie,
Yeah.
and Rick was just feeling that.
Give him his just desserts.
Yeah. By the way, did you notice him later on? He was a zombie.
But he didn't do anything, luckily. I don't think he hurt anybody or anything.
Oh, as a zombie?
Yeah.
No, he
Did
was
he?
just shambling.
But he did come
He was
out.
shambling
yeah.
in
I was
his
a little
little
worried
apron.
that, oh, shit, that he's going to
Yeah.
regret that decision, but he didn't.
Not yet, at least.
Right. That's all I had. That was a great episode.
It's going to be an interesting season.
Yeah. I can't wait.
Me too.
All right, we'll take a little break. There's more to come. Stay with us. All right, let's talk about Fracture, our sponsor. We occasionally have sponsors, and we only bring on sponsors with products that we really like and use and would feel good about passing on to you guys because we don't want you to hate us.
Yes.
And I really, really like this product. I actually sought them out as a sponsor because I bought one and thought it was really cool. So with a Fracture, what it is they come and they break your window. No, just kidding. It's a picture. You send in your picture, any digital photo, and they send you back this beautiful presentation. It's your photo printed on glass, ready to mount, and it's vivid and beautiful. And the thing is, now that most people have smartphones and we're taking tons and tons of pictures, more pictures than ever before, but they're often just hidden on our smartphones. And also because we're taking so many, you forget about the ones you took a while back and nobody ever gets to see them. Occasionally they get posted to Facebook. But sometimes when I go back and scan through my photos on iPhoto, I see, oh, wow, I took some really great ones. You know, like every 10th photo or something like that is, you know, I try to take some nice shots. And it's so cool to be able to actually put those up and display them. But it can be a pain in the butt to go have them printed and framed and mounted and everything. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you've talked about that before.
Oh, yeah.
So Fracture is really easy. You just upload your picture and they ship it to you and it's all ready to mount. And they have this great attention to detail. I'm a sucker for really good packaging, and their packaging is cool. It's very compact and it's kind of got this like waxy seal. And when you open it up, it's really interesting. There's this black cork board that's the back of the picture, but then that's inset in a little like dip of black cork board, and then there's a screw for it inset in that. And it's hard to describe, but it's really cool the way they make the material of the actual product, also the material of the packaging. But, if you don't care about packaging, the best part about Fracture is they're just really beautiful.
They are.
Yeah, and they look really vivid and bright, almost like they're lit up to me.
Mm-hmm. And the neat thing is, it's your picture. It's your picture that's there
Like
on the wall. I've got 2 of them on my wall.
They also have an art store on fractureme.com where there's pre-done ones that you can get.
I want.
Yeah, they're really, all kinds of different interesting works of art and interesting pictures. A lot of them are hyper colorized because it looks cool to have things that are really colorful done as these. So prices start at $15. You can get them in all different sizes. And if you go to fractureme.com and enter promo code GAC, you will get a discount. And I think it's 15%.
GAK?
Yeah, GAK. So awesome. Check that out, you guys. I really think you're going to like it. We've had a lot of listeners who've done this and wrote back. And if you do go get one, please write to us and show us which picture you got done and tell us how you like it. And we thank Fracture for their support.
Thank you, Fracture.
Obvious threat to untold numbers of citizens.
The people it kills get up and kill.
Are they slow moving, Chief?
Yeah, they're dead. They're all messed up.
This is a Walking Dead Cast news update.
Okay, just like usual, after 8 episodes, Walking Dead's going to go on hiatus, and then it'll come back. They've announced Sunday, February 8th. So they announced that.
Just like last year.
Yeah, that day probably wasn't exactly the same, but now we know it's February 8th. And then there'll be another 8 after that. They also announced that it's going to be renewed for a 6th season already.
Wow.
Yeah, so we know we have another year of podcasting, which is great. Broadway World interviewed Josh McDermott, who plays Eugene. Mm-hmm. They revealed that his mullet is made with hair extensions. It's not his real hair. The powers that be at Walking Dead asked him if he'd be willing to grow it out for real, and he said, "No, thank you. I'd rather have a social life." Just a little tidbit.
That's funny. I think it's adorable.
Yeah. He won't have that when we see him. Well, maybe he will have it because they're filming now. Yeah. I saw him at Walker Stalker Boston. He didn't have it in, but now that they're filming, when we see them next week in Atlanta, he'll probably have his...
Wonder if he'll let me touch his hair extensions.
Can I have one of those extensions? Tug. When asked what would happen with Daryl in season 5, all Norman Reedus would say is, his hair is longer, he's dirtier.
It's hard to imagine.
If you were buried underground, would you consider that dirty? Being dirty if you're in the dirt?
Yes.
Okay, there you go.
What?
I'm just kidding. Sarah Wayne Callies, who played Lori, is joining the cast of one of Carlton Cuse's several new TV shows. This one is an alien drama called Colony.
Oh, cool.
She plays the female lead opposite Josh Holloway.
Yeah. Oh, hello, Sawyer.
Sawyer from Lost.
Baby.
So that'd be cool. I think they're a married couple. He's an FBI agent or something.
Yes, please.
Okay, here's where we get into the very slightly spoilery stuff. So if you don't like that kind of stuff, you should skip ahead now to the next section. Just hit that forward button. So go ahead. No, I'm just
kidding. Where's mine? Where's my forward button?
So New York, this is slightly spoilery, not bad. New York Comic Con happens this weekend, and here's a few tidbits from that. Kirkman says, as he almost always does, this season pulls in big moments from the comic, and while they change things up a bit this season, they'll be following the comic in more closely than usual.
Oh, interesting.
Which is interesting, yeah. I like that they come back to it like that. Gimple likes it. Gale Ann Hurd summed up this season by saying, it's kick-ass, utterly relentless, and totally heartbreaking. Heartbreaking.
No, right,
and Glenn dies. No, I'm just kidding.
That's it. I quit.
That's what she said. Gimple said some episodes will be devastating. Devastating, Kirkman agreed. Yeah, really devastating. And we're not kidding. Sorry.
Did he really say that?
Yeah.
Bastard.
So there you go. I'm just getting you prepped.
Right.
Tough love. Andrew Lincoln was excited to get back to kicking ass. He said, it's about time I was sick of farming, sick of those pigs. He said that, well, he slaughtered the pigs, but he said this season he's been listening to a lot of Prodigy and death metal to get into the right mood, you know?
It's hard for me to picture that, but okay.
He said that this season Rick has been a complete package and that he kind of regretted killing Shane because Shane might have had the right approach. Then he smiled and said, I killed so many people. I don't know. Rick has only killed people when he's been in direct threat by them.
Right.
Like they're trying to kill him.
Right.
Okay, this one is a little bit more spoilery. Not a whole lot, not a big deal, but a little bit more, just so you know. So in an interview with Zap to It, Josh McDermott said that the cool thing is we're going to jump into the backstory of Eugene and Abraham and see where they're coming from and how that shapes the decisions moving forward. People are going to learn a lot about the characters who are new and a lot about the characters who have been around for a while.
Good.
Awesome. Yeah.
I'd like to see their backstory.
Me too. And I assume they'll show stuff that they did after the apocalypse. They don't do many pre-apocalypse flashbacks. Of Andrew J. West, who plays Gareth, McDermott said, Andy West is an amazing actor. He brings this likability to the character and this creepiness. I wouldn't be surprised if people are rooting for the Gareth character because of his boyishness and the charm that he has.
And the cuteness. He forgot the cuteness.
So to me, that means that the cuteness is a huge factor, but I don't think he would say that unless the storylines were coming around to trying to humanize him a bit.
Right, exactly.
We'll see.
I'm still going to hate him, but,
but
he's adorable.
Yeah, he can be the guy you think is hot and still hate. So this last one is potentially a big spoiler, bigger than the ones we usually do. It's speculative, which is why I'm going ahead and saying it. We don't know if it's true, but I just want to warn you, I wouldn't listen to this unless you don't care about spoilers at all. You have to listen.
Fingers in my ears and say la la la.
And this is the last item, but here we go. So apparently during New York Comic Con, the panel was up there. All the actors were up there. Apparently, I've only read this on one site, but Melissa McBride cried through most of it.
What?
You make of that what you will. All I'm saying, Carol had her big moment on the show. Melissa McBride is crying in panels. You just can't come to think of what that might mean.
I think she's crying because she's so happy.
She's so happy that her character's getting all these great things to do. It could be. You could be right. Who knows?
Maybe.
Like I said, speculative.
Are you saying that's one of the reasons why we get to interview her in Atlanta? Well, we don't get to. No, but she's going to be there to be interviewed?
I don't know about that. I think she just loves James and Eric.
Well, they're easy to love.
Yeah, that's true. All right. That's it for the news. Let's move along to listener moans, groans, and grunts. So this week we're publishing our episode one day earlier than usual, so people haven't had a time to write in about this week's episode. So this email won't be about but next week it will be, just so you know.
All right, the first one comes from Drea, who writes, my roommate's dog Samson was trying to eat a bug and kept fighting with it until it died. Then he licked it a couple of times and walked away in disdain. Reminded me of walkers who kill something and start eating it, but then get all distracted by the next human prancing by, leaving a perfectly good flesh kill practically completely whole to go to waste, and thus creating more walkers that are not only terrifying, but mostly mobile. This is why the infection spreads, because we live in a wasteful society. Well said, Drea. I agree. She said, ha ha ha, I figured it out. You can make my Nobel Prize winning checks to Drea Age. Okay.
Age.
I always mess it up.
Yeah. That's interesting because I always wonder about that. And it does seem to bear out. We've seen zombies in this show start munching down on someone and then hear a noise and kind of lose interest.
Oh, freshy.
Yeah. Maybe it's like a cat, they play with mice and then the mice dies and the mouse dies and they get bored with it. Whatever.
Stupid dead mouse. Not as fun.
This is from Jason McKeever. I was just listening to your story about the shoulder dislocation gone bad. I'm going to read this one. I please don't send any more of these. They're getting to me. I'm going to read this one, though. I have a somewhat similar story about a dislocated shoulder that didn't work out too well. So I'm 36 years old now, but when I was in 8th grade, I was playing football at my older brother's friend's house with a bunch of his friends. At one point, I got tackled hard and hurt my shoulder. I laid there in pain, telling myself, don't cry in front of these guys, you pansy. I told everyone I couldn't lift my arm and needed to sit out. The quarterback of the high school team told me that it was just a pinched nerve and I needed to swing my arm around in circles. I grimaced in pain and managed to swing my arm in small circles about 3 times before I was in too much pain that I couldn't hold back the tears. Then they brought me in to see one of their moms, who was apparently a nurse's assistant. She felt my shoulder and told me it was dislocated. She said she would pop it back in for me and I'd be fine. She tried, but the only thing she succeeded at was to drop me to the floor in screams and more tears than I've ever shed. At this point, my father was called. He arrived to take me to the hospital. I spent 30 minutes in the car with my dad to the constant threat of, be quiet or I'll give you something to cry about. Turns out I had a broken collarbone. Not something I hope anyone else has to go through.
And a dislocated shoulder?
No, I think it was just a broken collarbone.
Oh
but
my God.
That is so sad, and I'm really sorry to hear that. For some reason, the saddest part is Dad saying, "I'll give you something to cry about."
Horrible. Oh, Jason, baby, I hope you're feeling better now.
Yeah. Oh, that's
He's
so
36
sad.
now, and this was in 8th grade,
Poor
so I'm
kid.
sure he's feeling better. But
Yeah.
oh my God,
I can see why that would stay with you.
God,
Okay, no more stories like that,
I
please.
do love true medical stories, though.
All right, send them
I
in.
do. I can't help it. There's a TV show called, I think, Animals Amongst Us or something like that, or The Monster in Me. And it's all about people who go to crazy countries and end up coming back with weird parasites. And it's a great show. Anywho, this one comes from Brendan T. Burke, who writes, Jason and Karen, have you seen The Night of the Living Pharmacist? It's a Disney XD Halloween episode of a cartoon that my kids have watched for a while, Phineas and Ferb. It's it's a kid-friendly takeoff of many zombie movie tropes, and I just finished watching with my 6 and 8-year-old sons. It was very clever and gave a lot of nods to the zombie siege theme, a nod to 28 weeks later's helicopter as a zombie weapon, which is a great scene, by the way, horror movie stereotypes, and what got my attention was the guest voices and appearances by Simon Pegg and Nick Frost of Shaun the Dead. Plus, Jason can watch with Nico. No biting involved. Everyone gets turned when they are touched into a clone of the show's evil but comically inept mad scientist, Dr. Doofenshmirtz, and they go around mindlessly chanting "more of me," which is a funny substitute for mindless moaning. Enjoy, Brendan. P.S. Don't miss the George Romero reference. Wow,
that sounds great. Yeah, I totally want to check that out and show it to Nico.
Yeah.
So thank you. All right. This is from Gareth Owen. He says, after listening to episode 155 and your discussion about avoiding refrigerators, I'd just like to point out the fact that the world is overrun with reanimated corpses. As if you don't know. I'm guessing any survivors would be able to shrug off a piece of smelly, moldy cheese found in a fridge. Just saying. International calls are kind of pricey, so I'm going to finish this with a written zombie noise. Regards, Gareth. No, not that one. Yeah, that's a good point. And like I said before, I wish they would grimace a little more when they rub zombie guts all over them, because I can imagine that would stink really bad, and you'd never get used to it enough that you would have absolutely no reaction.
Greasy, grimy zombie guts. Yeah.
Cool. But thanks. Okay. Now we have one call. I don't usually like to play calls that are just all praise, mostly because I think it's probably boring to the other listeners. Nice to hear boring to the other listeners. But this one was kind of fun, so I'm going to go ahead and play it. This is Chris from Raleigh, North Carolina.
Hi, Jason and Karen. It's Chris calling from Raleigh, North Carolina. I listen to the podcast normally when I'm on my commute to and from work, and it is always a welcome relief. I actually look forward to driving home just so I can listen to you guys. But one of the things I wanted to call, just something that I've noticed in the year and a half that I've been listening, is that I just love the chemistry that you guys have in the podcast, just how you play off of each other. And that was evidenced with this most recent podcast when I believe you were reading a listener comment and they mentioned a movie called Scouts versus Zombies. And the laughing fit that ensued from the LOL in the comment. I don't know what it is, but the laughter was infectious and I guess like the zombie disease. And I just started laughing along with you and could not stop laughing to the point I had to pull off to the side of the road. I don't know if it was because of the day that I had at work,
High five.
and it was like the stress release that I needed. But it was such a great laugh, and listening to Karen laugh without ceasing was it really helped me in that moment. So thanks, but thank you so much for the podcast and what you guys do. It is it's a real treat to have The Walking Dead on television and just to enjoy it when it's on. But having you guys do the podcast, it is really the icing on the cake. As far as I'm concerned, I really enjoy it. I look forward to it after every episode. So thank you. Keep up the good work. And don't get bit.
Oh, it's so nice. Thank you, Chris.
Thanks a lot, man. That was cool.
Yeah, it really was. Job well done. We made him pull off.
I know. That's great. If we can make people pull off the road for whatever reason, we've done our jobs. All right, that's it for listener feedback. Thanks so much, everybody, for writing in. Yeah, now let's move on to Comic Talk. So this is our segment where our friends Mr. Blog and Gracie Lou compare the show to the comics. So if you aren't a comic reader and you don't want to hear stuff that might potentially be spoilery, because sometimes the comic story parallels the show and this section can give away story elements from the comic, then you should skip the section. But it's really interesting, and if you don't care about that kind of stuff, I highly recommend it. So take it away, Mr. Blog and Gracie Lou.
Hey everyone, I'm Mr. Blog.
And I'm Grace.
And we are so happy to be back for Season 5 of The Walking Dead, doing Comic Talk for The Walking Dead cast. Grace, why don't you go ahead and take away pretty much the main thing that was from the comics that showed up in this episode.
Okay, well, the obvious similarity was the fact that they were cannibals there at Terminus, much like the cannibals in the comic. And so if we didn't catch on to that last season, we definitely found out this tonight.
It is most certainly confirmed. And then we had just a few, yeah, definitely. We had a few other little minor things that showed up. I mean, we had somebody wielding a bat menacingly over Glenn's head. I think, if you're reading the comics, you know exactly what that's a reference to.
Yes, nice little tease there.
And what do you think about that person who showed up at the very end?
Yeah, talking about a tease, that certainly looked a lot like our good buddy Negan, didn't it?
It absolutely did. And now it's got me wondering, like, oh, is that the group that took over Terminus from the termites and vice versa and all this stuff? It really looked like him, didn't it?
Yeah, and that'd be an interesting way to like weave his story into it.
It would. Not like, like he didn't just pop up out of nowhere. Now, I do seem to feel that Negan was a little closer to the Washington, D.C. area, and we're still pretty far from that. But hey, who the hell knows? We don't really know any of that backstory, so it's possible.
Yeah, they might never make it to Washington in the TV show.
That's true. That's true. Did you notice anything else in the show?
No, but I mean, the same similarity. We do have, the same thing going on with Eugene, and he's still going on with saying he knows the cure and all that. True.
One other thing I noticed, and this is a bit of a stretch, but we don't have much to go on this week, is I think that when everybody kind of meets up at the very end, we realize that's the first time our entire group has been back together since the prison. And what that really reminded me of is when post-prison, everybody met up back at Herschel's farm, and it had that same sort of feel to me. It was like, okay, everybody's here, and that was a lovely scene in tonight's episode. I really loved that.
Yes, it was beautiful.
Nice. So I think that about does it for any similarities between the comic and the show this evening. I'm going to guess and hope that as we move forward in the season, we're going to see a lot more things in common. But until then, this is what we had, and this is great. I love the episode, and I guess we should let it go back to Jason and Karen.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, everyone. See you next week.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Blog and Gracie Lou. I just want to also mention that Mr. Blog and Gracie Lou have a sister podcast called Under the Comic Covers, where they cover a lot of great independent comics, including The Walking Dead. So you should check that out. It's at utccovers.com.
And it's really a fun little podcast. I love it.
Ready to close it out?
Yeah, let's do it.
Get it, Pete.